Hi everyone, it's Gwen from Rustic Diva Design, and today I have a walkthrough video and a tutorial for this 4x6 recipe album that I made using the Mini Cinch. So I'm going to show you what I used to make it, and I'm going to show you how to make it. So first of all, I used the 6x6 paper pad by Echo Par, or I'm sorry, this is a Cartabella one, or same, I guess. Cartabella homemade. So this project is perfect for a 6x6 paper pad. You can use any style of paper that you want. I just wanted to make a recipe album with this, just to again practice with my Mini Cinch. I have a video using that with my reading journal if you watched that already, so that was my first go around. So anyway, I wanted to try something smaller. So I used the paper pad. This is the ephemera pack that also goes with the collection. And then I also used some chipboard accents in this collection as well. So I'll go through some of that too. So let me show you. So this is just a chipboard cover covered with some pattern paper, and I didn't double mat, and I didn't wrap the chipboard, or I'm sorry, I didn't wrap the paper with the chipboard on the chipboard. I'm sorry, what am I trying to say? I just covered it. So, and I'll show you how to do that because I was trying to get away from some thickness here with using this cinch. So anyhow, here is just some paper. Here's a couple pieces of the ephemera. This is popped up on foam. And then the chipboard pieces here on the cover. So in the inside, I just covered the inside cover with some pattern paper. And then here is a flap, like a divider sheet, and then I don't have anything here, but this is just a little tuck spot in case you wanted to put another recipe card here or a photo or something. You can do that. And then here's a little pocket page, just using pattern paper on the page and also to make the pocket. And then I included 3 recipe cards, 4x6 recipe cards, in this section, and then this section has a smaller pocket that I put the 3x5 recipe cards in, and I made this pocket a little bit wider so that you can fit more than just one card in there. So those just tuck in like that, and then just decorated. And then again, here's the second divider. This is just another tuck spot here, and then a pocket page on the back, and then 3 more recipe cards, and then the 3x5 recipe card holder, and then this last divider. There's 3 dividers and 3 pockets for the 3x5 recipe cards, and then this I left open at the top as well for a little tuck spot, and then the pocket page, and then 3 more recipe cards, and then the 3x5 recipe card pocket, and then just the back cover. I didn't do anything with the covers in the inside. You could, but what I was trying to do is just keep it a little bit less chunky than the last project I made, so that my cinch might work a little better. So there you go. And then I just used a leftover piece of the binding wire that I had left from when I made the reading journal. This is like the rose gold color. So there you go. So let's get into how to make this recipe album. So let's just set that here. Well, I don't know. So we're gonna need our scoreboard, and we're gonna need a ruler and some scissors. Oh, and I did ink the edges of the pages with the Tim Holtz Distress Ink and Vintage Photo. So I'll also have that with me. Okay, so for the covers, the front and back cover, you're going to need 2 pieces of chipboard that are 4 by 6, and I have those here. So when I made these again using a lightweight chipboard so that I could get rid of some of the bulk. So lightweight chipboard, 2 of those 4 by 6. For the inside, let me just show here. Let's just show you. So for this divider piece, it's just 1 piece of scrapbook paper. And those measure 4 by 6. So you'll need 3 of these cut at 4 by 6, and then we're just going to score it at a 1/2 inch. Okay, and I'll tell you why once we get into that. And then some recipe cards. These are the recipe cards that I used from Amazon, and I have those in my Amazon link, so I will put that in the video description. So we'll be using those. And then we're going to make this pocket page, and that is 3 pieces of solid cardstock that measure 5.5 by 7.5. And then we're going to score at a 1/2 and at 4 and turn it and score at a 1/2. And I'll show you that once we get to making things. And then we're going to use pattern paper to make the pocket. And here are the dimensions for making the pocket with pattern paper. It's 5 7/8 by 2, and score it at 1/4 on these sides. So with the 2 inch at the top, we're going to score it at a 1/4 inch on each end, and then we're going to score it at a 1/2 inch like this. Okay, I'm sorry, at the long way. We're going to I'll tell you, we'll get there. Okay, I'll tell you step by step. So first of all, let's start making the cover for the front. So I have a 4 by 6 piece of chipboard. I have my pattern paper, and I'm going to be using the 6 by 6 Cartabella Farm to Table paper collection this time. And so I just want to choose a piece of pattern paper that I want to use for the cover. And I went through this. I could do chickens again, but I'm not going to. I went through this and thought either this one or the mason jars. I think I'll do this with all these little ovens on here. So we'll do that for the front and the back. So let me find that second one here. This paper collection is super cute. So whatever paper, if you're using this one, you can't go wrong. All scrapbook paper is cute, isn't it? Okay, so I have my 2 cover pieces. And so we're going to cut these to 4 by 6, the same size as the cover. So I'm going to grab my cutter here, a big clunk of a cutter. Get that in here. There's a little bit of glare with the lights. So because this is a 6 by 6 paper pad, we just have to cut it down to 4. And save your little scraps because you might need those later. So we have 4 by 6. Now, when I made this the first time, I checked. So check to see, because sometimes it's not exactly the same. So, but this looks pretty good. So we're just going to glue that on like that, and then I'm going to cut another one at 4. Just making sure my camera's working, sorry. It is, okay. For the back cover, it looks pretty good. Okay, so now we have our cover pieces. Let me move this out of the way for a moment and just bring this back so I have some sort of a workspace here, I guess. And then if you want to, you can ink your edges, and I think I will. So we're just gonna do that with the Tim Holtz Vintage Photo. And I could have done some of this ahead of time, but I wanted to show you how I did it, because some of the little details kind of matter, you know, in case you have to do some trimming. And I had to do that with the first recipe book I just showed you. So in case that happened, I wanted to kind of just do the step by step so that you get it. And I know some of this part is boring. Okay, so that's ready. Now we're just gonna glue it on just to fit, like so. And before I started my video, I forgot to check to see if my glue bottle was gonna cooperate. You know how this goes. I'm just getting that going here. Sorry, I should have did that first. Make sure. Okay. So just gluing this on. Now what I'm gonna do, because I know that my holes for the, when I use the cinch are right here at the top on the left-hand side of the cover. I'm not gonna get too heavy with the glue where I think the holes are gonna punch. So let's just get some glue on here. And I'm gonna start like so. And glue right at the edge. And then just kind of go like this, leaving a little bit of room at the top for hole punching. I mean, if you get it in there, it's okay, but I'm trying not to get too heavy. So then just put this on, make sure, oh, see, yep, oh, we're okay. And we're just gonna lay it on here and glue it so it fits straight as you can possibly get it, so that it looks good. I mean, you might not have it exactly, but you're gonna try really hard, like me. And then we're just gonna glue that down. And just get the excess off here. Now, after I have this glued on, what I like to do, and I don't know if it really matters, but again, I'm gonna go over it with my ink and just get the outsides of that cardboard. Like so. Now we have our front cover, the outside of our front cover. What are we gonna put on? Oh, shoot, I don't want that on there. The label. table. So pick a paper, and then, because it's just the front cover, you can decorate these however you want. I'm just gonna do like I did with the first one. Pick a piece of paper, and I'll just start with how about some vegetables? Let's do that. So I'm going to cut, which I should have done this already. But I'm showing you the exact process of how I did this to actually get everything correct when I was making this. Because sometimes, we just fly by the seat of our pants and figure things out as we go, which that's pretty much what I did. So we're doing that now. So I'm just cutting, again, it's a 4x6, so I'm just cutting this down to 4. Again, save your scrap. And then we're going to take a look and see how this lines up with the other side of the cover. And that looks good too. Okay. And then if you have directional paper, make sure you're putting it on the right way. So this is the way we want it. So we're going to put it on this way. And again, just running this through. Ink the edges. And then we're going to glue it. I don't trust myself. That's why I check a lot. I want to make sure that my edges are glued down really well. Just lining that up. Straight. Okay, so there's our front cover, front and back. Now, as I went along, I wanted to make sure that I was doing everything right, like I said. So I have my Mini Cinch. Let me tell you, this project was way easier than that reading journal was. I didn't have hardly any stress with this project, if you can believe it. So, because this is 4x6 and we're running it this direction, our holes are going to be at the left-hand side. So I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to be using the centering arrow here and the ruler on the cinch, on the Mini Cinch. So it's going to be, and I'll stick this in here so you can see. So because it's 4 inches wide, I am just lining it up on both sides at the 4-inch mark. Okay. So putting that in here like so, and making sure it's as even as it can be. we're gonna give it a punch. Sorry for wiggling the table, because you're going through chipboard here, so, and there you go. There's the holes, and they look okay. You know, a little bit on the back, but this is what happens to me, I guess. So that's it. So your front cover is ready to go. All right, and then let's move to the first page in the book is this little divider page. So this is just a 4x6 sheet of paper. And again, you need 3 of these. 3 that measure 4x6, and we're gonna score it at a 1/2 inch. So on your scoreboard, with 6 inches at the top, just scoring it at a 1/2 inch. Now this step is optional because we're not folding this at all. All I'm doing is scoring this here to give me a guide to show me where the holes are going to be pretty close. So as you can see, I have my pattern paper up to that score line, and then I know that this is where the punch holes are going to be. So that's why I made the score line there. You don't have to do that. I just did that. Okay, so there's that piece. And then all it is now is decorating, and we're going to put on a little tab. So I have this as a guide now, so I can kind of get this pretty close. So I use this little 2-inch tab punch to make my tabs, and you can find that on Amazon. I'll stick that in my Amazon link too, if I can find it. I should be able to. So for the tab, I already have them punched out, and I just used a piece of colored cardstock, whatever color you want. And then you don't have to score these. There's there's the little notches there at the fold line, but it makes it easier to score it and fold it if you score it. And I learned that from Carolina at Carolina's Crafts. So I'm just scoring this tab and folding that. And we're gonna just glue it like so onto this paper. So in looking at this, if we line it up, that looks just about right. If you need to make a pencil mark, I've done that. It's certainly fine, which I just might do. So this end and that end, and I want to probably put it, I'll move it just a hair up. Right about there. Just so it's on there and it's straight, right? Yes. So I'm going to put the glue here. First, and then just kind of do that. That looks pretty good. And then we're just going to glue it down. You can ink the edges of these too if you want to. Oops, I got a little glue there. A little glue on there. Okay, so here's our first divider page. And you can decorate this first and then punch it, or either way. So I think I'll just decorate it. So because I have this, I'm kind of coordinating. I kind of did that. Coordinated with, you know, whatever's coming next in the, with the papers that I chose. So I think maybe I'll do this for the divider page. So we're going to cut this. We're going to cut this different. So your pattern paper will be 3 7/8 by 5 3/8. If you're doing the score line like mine, that's what the pattern paper measurements are. 3 7/8 by 5 3/8. So let's cut that. Some things out of the way here. So 3 7/8 first. Where are you? There we go. What'd I say? 5 3/8. How easily we forget. Especially when you don't want to screw it up because you're making a video. Okay. So there's that. Going to ink the edges. Bring this back so you know what we're doing. I love making recipe books, and I love the kitchen themed, recipe themed papers. They're so fun to work with. And these little recipe books, this was actually a really easy, quick project. So I was happy about that. So we're just gonna, you know, map this down, and I'm using the score line as my guide here. If you wanted to double mat these, you should be able to do it okay. I didn't because I was again trying not to get all that bulk in there. So make sure you glue your fingers, because that's part of it. So however you want your paper to line up. I'm going to have a little bit of this tab showing, but I have that in my other one too. It's okay. Glue. Okay. Now we're gonna flip it over and do the other side, which I'm not gonna do any extra decorating in the tutorial. I can do that later. So we're just, here's our page and then it's flipped over. Now let's do our pocket page. So what I did is, again, matted this with the same size paper mat. And now I'm going to choose a piece of pattern paper that I can use both the front and the back. So I will just use this one, or maybe, oh, how about the chickens? Let's do the chickens. Yep, and then we're going to use the part we cut off, the B side, for the pocket. So let's get that cut. So we have 3 7/8. And save this piece because this is going to be your pocket piece by, what was it? 5 3/8. Good grief. Yes. 5 3/8. Now, technically you wouldn't have to mat the entire page if you didn't want to. But I think what in my mind when I was putting this together, I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to design this part, so I just matted it fully. But to save paper, you could cut it down because there's going to be a pocket here. So let's ink these edges. So we're just going to mat this on. Make sure I have you in here. And again, I'm using that score line as a guide. Making sure it's where I want it. Go up a little. Okay, there's the back. And now we're going to make the pocket with the B side of that same piece of paper. We're going to use this side, the orange gingham, it looks like. So let me get that pocket back and my cutter. So the pocket is 5 7/8 by 2. So I'm just cutting this to 2 inches first. And then we have to cut off just a little bit. Now, here is my dilemma with this cutter. My See in the fold? I have to use a different one because I don't have my lines. If somebody has a solution for that, please tell me, because I struggle. I'm not gonna guess. So then this is cut at 5 7/8. Just bringing this so I can see it. So it's just a little sliver off the edge. That's it. That's all it is. And now we can get rid of this. And then we're gonna score to make the pocket. So however you want to do this, start it however you want. So I'm just gonna score the two edges at 1/4 of an inch. And the reason why I did it at 1/4 of an inch is because I wanted to use the 6x6 paper. Otherwise, anything bigger, you know, when you score it 1/2 inch, it wouldn't work. So 1/4 of an inch, just to make your folds for your pocket, works perfectly. And you'll see it. You don't need much. You just need something so you can tack it down to your paper. And then with the 2 inch at the top, we're scoring at 1/2. And this is just a regular pocket that we've made 100 times. So I'm just cutting just a little snip off the top, and then just cutting where, let's see, can you see where the score lines meet at an angle here, just to get rid of the bulk. It's kind of hard to see on this side, even for me. I really have to look. Let's see. See if that works. We can always adjust if we need to. And then just fold your little tabs on both ends. And the 1/2 inch. Like that. And then I just check to see if anything's going to hit, and it's fine. Actually, this one here, we could go a little bit more. Just a sliver. So now this is just going to get glued onto your page like that. You could notch the pocket if you wanted to. I was just trying to make it easy on myself, just to make sure everything worked. So I didn't. But you know what I do forget to do with the pockets? I forget to ink the edges. But I remembered this time. I did that in the first, this first album I made. I forgot to do that. After it was already glued down, I remembered. So I'm gonna glue the bottom of the pocket first. And you could add the pocket before the pattern paper so that you don't have to do, because I'm going to put tape on here. You know, that tape that makes things slide in and out easier. You could do it that way. Again, I was just kind of going with the flow when I was making this, so I'm just showing you exactly how I did it as I'm going along here. This is how things came together, I guess we could say. So now we have this little 1/2 inch piece, and that's where the tape comes in. So I'm just adding a piece of tape to the bottom to cover up that little lip you get when you glue that down, so things can slide in and out of the pocket easier. You've seen me do that before, I'm sure. And then these little tabs just get glued down. Just like that. Okay, so now this is the first flap of our recipe album, the front and the back. So then I went back to my cinch. Let me cover this glue before we have a disaster. Like it doesn't want to work. Oh, I don't need to move that. Brought the cinch back in and I said, okay, let's do this. So again, this is a 4x6 sheet of paper. And the only thing is make sure that, you know, you're directional here. So again, lining it up at the 4-inch mark on the mini cinch. And punch. So when you're done, you get something like that. Nice. There's your holes. And so if you want to check and see, here's your front cover. Put those two together and voila, we did it right. Isn't that awesome? So then when you open it up, this is the front, this is your first divider page, and then the pocket side. Now we're going to add 3 recipe cards. 3 seem to work okay. Again, with the thickness of the book, because you're only using these small binders, because I only have the small binding wires, I wanted to make sure that it was going to actually cinch closed this time. So three of these. And then again, sometimes the measurements aren't exactly 4x6, so you're gonna have to measure first. Please measure first. So this is just shy of 4 inches. It's actually in between. It's like 3 15/16 on my ruler. So what I do is just, because I think it's 4, but it really isn't, what happens is I need to put that in between the 4-inch mark, and you can see there's a little bit of gap there, but here is the 10-inch, or not 10-inch, centimeter line that works. Okay, so we're gonna punch those. Like that. So there's one. And you may be using a different style of card. So like I said, the main thing is just make sure you check your measurements. Even though it says 4x6, it might not be exactly. So we want things to line up as nicely as we can get it. And there we go. So now if we look, put all things together, that didn't work. There we are. Everything is there, matches up. I don't have it. What happened, because the cards are not quite 6 inches long either, so they don't come exactly to the edge of the chipboard, which that pleased me. So it's kind of sitting inside the cover nicely a little bit. the cover is covering the recipe cards nice, if that makes sense. Okay, next we have this little pocket for the 3x5 cards. And so we need a piece of a piece of solid cardstock that measures 5.5 by 7.5, and we're going to score at a half and a 4 and at 4 and turn it and score at a half. So let me show you. Here we have the 5.5 by 7.5. So with the 7.5 at the top, we're scoring at a 1/2 inch. And we're scoring at 4. And then I'm going to turn it and score it at a 1/2 inch. And I hope I did this the right way. I had my little cheaters, but I don't know where I put those. Okay, so we need to make some cuts. So what we're going to do, because this is going to fold, and I can show you first. So we're going to make sure and fold this. I'm going to fold on the score lines to show you. This score line, just fold it in half, but it doesn't go all the way to half. And then this bottom 1/2 inch is going to fold up. And this 1/2 inch here is going to stay as a guide, just like the one on the 4x6 divider page. So now that you can see what you're actually working with, we're going to make some cuts. So this is just going to tuck in and fold like this. So we need to get rid of some bulk here. So we're going to cut out, there's a little square down here. We're going to cut that out right at the score line, because that's going to be our little tab to glue this together. And I learned this from May. May Made It. She has a YouTube channel, lots and lots of good stuff on her channel. So I took her idea and just kind of, you know, finagled it to make mine fit. So now we're just going to miter this just to get rid of some bulk. And then all we're doing is folding this. I'm going to make sure this is folded down good. And we're going to just put this together, glue it together, make sure it's even. Make some nice crisp lines here. So we're going to glue this flap, and then we're going to glue inside this 1/2 inch mark just to close it up to make that pocket. Whoops, get crazy with the glue bottle. Make sure I didn't glue the other side. And then I just want to add some glue here so this stays closed. Just to the score line. And then we're going to glue it together, again, making sure that it's even, as close as we can get it. I'm going to just close it up. Okay, there's our little pocket. Now we have this little notch here in the pocket, so it makes it easy to pull out your recipe cards. I'm gonna do that. So with the opening to the right, I'm just using a small circle punch, and you can use whatever you want to use. If you want to just use your envelope, what do you call it? You know, that has the little notcher thing in it. What is your envelope making tool? Man, I sometimes lose my head when I'm trying to think of things because I can never remember this is a bone folder. That happens to me a ton. So I'm going to, you can either, so this measures 3.5. So you can get out your little centering ruler if you want to. And make your mark that way, which then you can kind of use this as a guide for your next one. Sorry, I have a little bit of a glare here, so I'm trying to see where I'm going. I can't see. Black on black. So about right here. Oops, and then of course it moved. Yeah. I mean, we're gonna get it close. And then however deep you want your little notch to be is wherever. So I'm just kind of eyeballing this here. Actually, no. We can't do that. Stop. Don't punch. Don't punch yet. Because, wait a minute. Yes. I was thinking about this. I'm so sorry. That's right. Forget it. Carry on. Okay, so however deep you want your notch to be, and then centering that with your punch, just punch it. Sometimes this stuff kind of scares me that I'm going to screw it up, but sometimes you also just have to say, just go for it. Okay, so now we need some pattern paper for the pocket. And that can be, what should it be? We could do the flowers. Let's do that. So now we're going to cut our pattern paper. And again, we have this score line on the 1/2 inch side, or the 1/2 inch score line on the left-hand side. So we're going to cut our pattern paper for this pocket at 3 3/8 by 4 7/8. 3 3/8 by 4 7/8. So let's do that. Here's what we're working with. Three 3/8. By 4 7/8. Let me check that. Let me just check that, because we're going to the edge of this score line again. Yes. 4 7/8 for your pattern paper. Now we need to notch out our pattern paper. So we're going to just trace. So put your pattern paper on. If it's directional, make sure that it's going the right direction. Don't glue it, just hold it there, flip it over, and then with your pencil, draw a mark, draw a line. Now I will tell you, this doesn't work out perfectly every time I do it because it's just me. So then we put our paper in at our pencil mark nicely. This drives me crazy. And punch, okay? And there, it's supposed to line up, isn't it? It might have to go to the edge of your circle, but there we go. That's what I'm gonna use. I'm doing it. You don't have to ink your edges either if you don't want to. So then again, here's your guide, because we're going to punch the holes with the cinch on this side of that score mark. Okay, I'm going to turn this so I can see it just a little bit better. And then however you have to finagle it, like always. There we go. So our pocket is matted. Now we got to mat the other side. And then if you want to coordinate your papers, just keep that in mind. So we're going to choose, this isn't quite wide enough, so you can't use the scrap that you just cut, unfortunately. Oh, so if I wanted to do these, I could use, I'm not going to use these cut aparts in this collection. So I could use this paper that would look nice next to this paper. So I'll probably do that. So again, cutting. I know this seems like it's a tedious process, but again, this is how I figured everything out in my brain. When I was putting this all together and making sure that everything fit and worked. So thanks for hanging in here with me. Again, here we go. We need a piece of pattern paper. You can tell I didn't write anything down. 3 3/8 by 4 7/8. My glue bottle's in the way. Did I ink the edges? Yes, we did. See? How easily I forget. So now we're going to make that notch. So we're lining up the paper. Again, if it's directional, keep that in mind. It's lining that up close and then flip it over. Pencil mark. And then in the punch. It's going to go like that. Silence while we're so serious and gluing. Just lining those up. And when it gets to where you want it, glue it down. And that's the other side. Okay, so this is the front of the pocket. Here's our cinch. And again, what is this measurement? So this measures 3.5. So at the 3.5 mark on the ruler on this mini cinch, that's where we're going to punch our holes. Like that. So now obviously these aren't going to line up centered this way, but when you put them together, they're going to just kind of float in between like that. Okay, there we have it. That's our first section, I should say. Now we're going to move on to the second flap that has another tab. So that is our 4x6 sheet of cardstock, just one sheet. And we're going to score that with the 6 at the top at 1/2 inch, just as a guide. Again, we don't do anything with it, just using it as a guide. And here's my last piece. Let's just score that while we have it here. Oops. Okay, and now we need pattern paper for, just get that together, for the matting. So again, we're measuring from this score line and here. So 3 7/8 by, what? 3 7/8 by 5 3/8. And I was going to use this sheet. With the jars. Super cute. Three and 7/8. Yes. Sorry. By 5 3/8. Oh, we need that. And now we need a tab too. So before we do that, I'm gonna just ink. Get my little tab piece here, and I should have scored it. I can just do it this way. It doesn't matter. You just line that little notch up and make a score line in the middle and fold it. So now this one is gonna go come here. So here's our score line at the bottom of the page. So I'm just using this as a guide, I guess. And I'm gonna put my tab about right there, like that. Pencil. And of course I moved it. Glue that on. Here's our other one. Looks pretty good. My glue always smears right there. And if you have pencil marks, like I do, and don't want them there, you can certainly just erase. Can't get to it, but it'll work. Okay, let's mat that like that's gonna go. There we are. And now these two are going to coordinate like a little bit like that. So then on the back, we need another piece. That's going to be a pocket page. So this time, oh, cute. I don't know what to choose a lot of times. Let's do the cows. The cows are cute. And you can cut these ahead of time if you're planning out what you're gonna mat with. Again, I didn't, obviously. 3 7/8 by 5 3/8. I'm trying to cut so it doesn't wiggle. Ink. This is actually a good follow along tutorial, which I have done that many times. Just making sure we're in the right direction, because you can pause when you need to. Getting that even, because this is again, so again, this cow paper, I'm going to use this side of the B side to make the pocket. I'm going to get my glue bottle situated a little bit because it's getting messy. Okay, and then the pocket piece is this piece of pattern paper, which is 2 by 5 7/8. I'm gonna use this because I need it anyway. It's not my favorite. I like my big one, but to get my 5 7/8 mark, you know. Oh yeah, we're gonna do this side anyway, so we're good. Then we're scoring at 1/4. And then with the 2" at the top, we're scoring at 1/2. Trimming off these corners here. This little paper here is hard to see. And then folding this way. Oh, I cut these a little short. Whoops. Bummer. So I have a little notch in the bottom of my pocket here now because I cut that at an angle, too much of an angle. I've done that before. It's not the end of the world, but we're just gonna go with it, okay? Glue that down so it's straight. And I'm just gluing the bottom to the edge of the pattern paper that's already on there. And making sure. And then the tape. And then glue your flaps down for your pocket. Oops, glue the scoreboard too while you're at it. Not really. Put that away. And there's our second flap. So now, just getting these. We're going to grab the cinch, line this up because we cut these at 4, so these will line up at the 4" mark in the cinch. And punch. There's our holes, nice. So now on the cover, or in the book, if you're layering everything, I know this is not how everybody does it, but like I said, I wanted to make sure I did it right. So now we need 3 recipe cards. 3 of the 4x6 ones, I should say, to punch. So get that back. And remember, these aren't exactly 4 inches apart, or 4 inches wide. So they go in centered to whatever their measurement is. Punch. And I prefer to do these one at a time. I know that you can do it more than once. This is only my second time making a project with the Mini Cinch, so I'm being extra cautious. And again, you guys are probably going, lady, you don't have to do it that way. Okay. All right, so now we have our 3 recipe cards. Now we have the little pocket for the 3x5s. So we need our sheet that measures 5.5 by 7.5. And we need to score. So with the 7.5 at the top, you score at 1/2 inch. And at 4. And then turn it to the 5.5 and score at 1/2. And then we're going to cut. So if you want to fold just to know where you're at, it's fine, because again, this is just a guide. So we're going to cut the square out of the corner here. So we don't need that. It's right on the outside of those score lines. Where are you? There we go. And then we're gonna miter, because this is our flap we're gluing, remember. Oh, just take that off, right like that. So and then we're making our pocket piece. So we're gluing the flap down like that, and then running some glue just in between on the inside of that score line there. And I'm just making sure. If my head is in the camera, sorry, I probably have bed head too. It's morning time here. I haven't prepped myself for the day because I was excited to get on here and show you guys this project. So that all can come later. Now, if you want to just use this pocket as a guide, you can do that for punching out your hole. These are going to be far enough away from each other that if they're not exactly even, it's okay. What did I do now? How does that go? I'll fix it. Punch. Paper goes flying everywhere. Okay, now let's see. Oh, I get it. I have my book all messed up here. There we go. Just in order. In the order. So again, choosing the pattern paper. What should we use? Oh, I don't know. There's so many cute things. Maybe. Let's do. What was on the other side of that? Oh, just a red. I'm sorry. Because this is going to show you know, somewhat with your next flap. Just pick one. Let's do that. Pick it. Pick it and use it. So these are 3 3/8. Oops. By, goodness, where are you? 3 3/8 by 4 7/8. Yes. Where is it? 3 1/4 and 2. Yeah, because, yep, 4 7/8. That, sorry, I'm just making sure. Because we're going to that score line. Like so. Now let's pick another one for the other side, since we have our cutter out here. We can do that. I really should have wrote down my measurements. I'm terrible, terrible, terrible. But at least I give you the measurements like a billion times in this video. Okay, so the front of the pocket, and it doesn't matter, I guess, either one. Before we do anything, we are going to, again, make that little notch in our pattern paper. So we're just lining it up, flipping it over. I could have actually like skipped the inking of the paper for the, you know, video's sake, I guess. Too late now though, here we are. Now see, how come that didn't work? What did I do? Oh, flip it over. See? That's all it takes. Oopsie. Let's get this on here the right way. Wow, that's really off, isn't it? And then this side is going to be this. Make sure this is directional, so we're making sure. Pencil. If you're following along, thanks. Let me know how this went. I like to follow along with videos sometimes because it, you know, that's how I learn. And you can see as you're going along how things are going to turn out. And I like that you can just pause. If you need a pause, you can just pause. It helps. So eventually we're going to get to the end of this, you know, and I'm going to show you how to put this together with the Mini Cinch, how it turns out. So I'm trying to move it here. Line up. There we go. And I don't think I put the recipe cards 3x5s in yet, so we can do that too eventually. Okay, so here we go. That pocket's done. This is what, 3.5. Let's see, this way. Yeah, I'm gonna punch it this way. 3.5 right here. Lining it up there and punch. And there's your second flap. Pocket, I should say. So we have one more. We're going to do the last divider page. So before we do that, we're going to use, whoops, just about dropped a lot of things. Here is the tab. Whoa, careful. Hang on. We're getting there. We're getting there, everybody. And then I will just use this as a guide. If you want to make like a template or something that's faster, you could do that. Here. I'm just marking where I want that to go. And then just gluing that area to get it started. Whoops. Come on now. Glue everywhere. Straighten that out. Okay. Sorry, throwing things. Okay, so let's pick our next pattern paper piece. So I'm going to try to coordinate it with this one. I think I'll do this side. So this is 3 7/8 by 5 3/8. And we'll cut 2 of those. 3 7/8. By 5 3/8. And then let's decide what we're going to do for the back and the pocket. So that'll take a whole sheet. So it won't be that. Is there anything we haven't used? We did the chicken. Or we can use, you know, another sheet of, because we have scraps here too. So we could make a pocket out of one of these if we wanted. So let's use, see where the dilemma comes? Oh, that'd be cute. So let's do this one. And then let's use, we're going to do this side, and then we're going to use this for our pocket. And while I have the cutter here, let's cut this pocket down. Oh, I need the other one, don't I? Well, here. Whoops. So 2 inches. Because this is our pocket piece for the other side. By 5 7/8. And that's where this comes in. If only I was so good as to be able to eyeball it. I wouldn't have to switch. Okay. So this is our front. This is just the front piece. I am really, once, you know, the project gets going and your paper's all over and scraps and garbage pieces, that's okay though. It shows we're making progress. That's what happens. That's what counts. My glue is really starting to act up. So let's hope we make it to the end. flipping it over to the back side of your third divider piece, where our pocket's gonna go. Making sure everything is facing the right way. Okay, and then we just need to score our pocket piece at 1/4 of an inch on each end. And 1/2 inch on the bottom. Just making our trims. Is that a thing? And here. And here. Fold. Oh, you know what? Did I remember to ink the edges on that second pocket? Nope. I told you. I told you. That's how I roll. That is how I roll. Never fails. I mean, are you gonna notice? Maybe. So again, we're just starting with the bottom flap of our pocket. Gluing that down. Just to the edge. The bottom edge of the pattern paper on here. And tape. So if you have this paper collection, you could even make this the exact same as I am, because it's only one 6x6 paper pack, which is nice. Okay, there's our pocket page. Let's get our cinch machine. And again, this is a 4x6 that we cut ourselves, so we know it's 4 inches. So we're just centering that at the 4-inch mark and punch. And there you have it. So then we need, whoopsie, see, I always forget, 3 more cards, 3 more recipe cards, the 4x6 ones, well, let's say they're 4 by 6. And again, they're a little short. So we're just centering those. Punch. I really like to try punching more than one, but I don't want to do it on camera. I'll try it someday. Okay, and then lastly is one more pocket for the 3 by 5 cards. So again, here is your last sheet of 5.5 by 7.5. So we're going to score it at 1/2 inch and at 4. Whoa, hello, right at 4. Be good. See how I did that? I got excited. Woo! And then we're going to turn it and score it at 1/2 inch. So let's just, that should be covered. I'm just going to fold so I know where things are at. Cut out that little square at the bottom. And then just give it a little miter, like so. I'm going to erase my 4 in case my paper gets close there, because it'll be covered, but you know. And then we're going to glue together. Oh, yes, it is on the outside. My writing, I thought maybe it was gonna, I could have made it go the other way, I guess. But why? That'd be easy. Okay. Uh-huh. I'm just using one of my other pockets as a guide. To punch that hole. And there. So now we can pick our 2 papers for the pocket, which I'd like to use something I haven't used already, but well, how about chickens? Yeah, chickens, because we're getting close to the back cover now, and so I want to kind of coordinate a little bit. So chickens for this side it is. And we'll cut both at 3 3/8 by 4 7/8. So that'll be for this side, and then for the other side, I'll do, what was I gonna do for the back cover? I saw it. The inside back cover is going to be this, I believe. This. So set that aside, and then I will use this for the pocket. Chickens. That cutting is done. So we're going to start with the chicken paper. Just kind of getting that lined up, flipping it over. I have a little bit of a shadow too, so that's why sometimes chicken paper. It's been a long time since I have done a full decorating tutorial, and you know, sometimes I do these in parts, but I'm not gonna do that this time. You're getting the whole shebang, okay? I hope that's okay, rather than part 1 and part 2, because I have another project I'm already working on, if you can believe it. So I need to get going with that one too, so I can show you what that's all about. Right. Trying to get that straight. We're getting there, I promise. Okay, so now this piece, this way and that way. So if you have ever tried a project like from scratch in your head, knowing in your head what you want to do, but you know, you kind of just got to lay it out as it goes, welcome to my world. I mean, we're probably friends and we don't even know it. I mean, we know how we want things to work out. We just have to make it. And there's always some bloopers along the way. Usually that's the case with me anyway. I'm surprised we've gotten this far. I shouldn't even say it. Don't ruin it. Don't jinx it. Pocket is complete. Okay, so here is the front of the pocket. That is 3.5. So lining that up on the ruler on the cinch to punch your holes. There we go. See, it doesn't always just punch nice and clean for me. I don't know. Okay, and now here we are at the end. So we've done this. We have that. We're gonna just decorate the back cover with, remember we have this one too. So that's gonna go. So let's make sure. We just need to cut that piece to 4 because we already have our 4x6 chipboard. Come back. So these two are gonna kind of coordinate this way and this way. Just making sure. Oh, that looks great. Okay. So again, this is the inside back cover that we're at. If you're still here and following along, just making sure. There we go. That looks good. Just lining that up because we're just covering the chipboard. We're not wrapping anything, which I think it works out fine. Don't you? Let me know. Do you? Would you rather have a wrapped cover? The only reason why I didn't is because it just adds to the thickness where you're punching your holes sometimes. And maybe on this one it might not have, but I just wanted to try it this way. Okay, so this is the inside. Now we got to do the outside, like so. Right? Oh, yeah, it's going to go like that. That is why I waited to punch my holes, because again, I'm just figuring things out with this cinch contraption and I didn't want to mess it up. The reading journal that I made was my first project, like I said, and for some reason, when I get something in my head to try something new, I always have to go, you know, start out with the biggest project I could possibly think of instead of doing something easy. Just, you know, start with something that's going to give you a lot of stress. But you know, I did learn. I learned a lot by doing that. So, is that bad? There's a little glue here because I'm going to run my around the edges just one more time, just to get rid of anything I missed here. These are going to make the cutest gifts, telling you. Okay, so now here is our entire pack of things, and this has to go like this. Boop. See? That's why I wait, because I want to make sure I'm doing it right. So that is going to cut right here. So this is our 4x6 chipboard that we cut ourselves, so we're okay. We can line it up at the 4-inch mark and punch our holes, and voila. Oh, don't get rid of this. Don't get rid of that. So here's our cover. Inside, outside. Okay, now we can use so everything is made for the book, and what I did is just put everything together first, and then I went back and I decorated as I wanted to do that. So here are the binding wires for this size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. So yeah, I hope I have everything in order here. I'll know. I will know in a second. So here is the back cover. Let's put that on. And then we have the little pocket page. And then we have, because we're going backwards, 3 recipe cards. We can follow along with our other one. And then you have your divider page. I'm probably doing this backwards for some people. And then you have another little pocket page on top of that. Look how cute this turned out with all these cute little papers. And then we have our 3 recipe cards, yes. And then here is our another divider. And then the pocket page, yes. Cute. And then 3 recipe cards. And then the last, oops, stuck together here. The divider page, the first one. And then our cover. You guys, look at that. Look how cute that is. Okay, so then we just take this off of here because everything is where it needs to be. And look at our tabs even turned out nice. Look at that. Oh, can you see? Okay. All right, and then we're just going to cinch this together by just starting at, remember, I might have to, whoops, don't fall out. Wouldn't that be bad? I think these are supposed to just kind of line up. So I'm just gonna start with a little bit at a time and see how that's going. And then I'm gonna do a little more and see. It looks okay. And a little more. And so what I ended up doing, I think, is just kind of taking these in sections also a little bit and pressing them down, maybe going to the edge here like that, and it's getting there. Ta-da! Just like that one. So if you want to yeah, look at that. There's your book. So now you can decorate the cover however, and then once you open it, here's your start. Here's your first little flap with your, oh, hey, pocket page and your recipe cards. Let's show you. I'll show you. So I put 2 of the 3x5 recipe cards in the book. You can fit more, but I'm going to give this or sell one. I probably bring these to my craft shows with 2 cards in them. So they come with these 2, and you could fit more. Well, am I lying to you? No. So let's do that. Fill those up. I'll have everything linked like I normally do for you guys. If you have questions, or if I miss something, sometimes I misspeak too. So if you catch me, tell me. And there, we got our recipe cards in there. Okay, so I mean, there's just a little bit of finishing up. You know, you can add some elements to the flap or the divider pages. I do have the ephemera pack that goes with the farm to table paper collection, so I'll probably go back and decorate with that, and some stickers and such. So there is our tutorial, you guys. I didn't bring my wire bender thing, the wire cutter that came with my cinch, so I'll bend these wires in off camera, so you don't have to watch me do that. So hey, we made it. We made an entire recipe album, a 4x6 recipe album using a 6x6 paper pad. That's it. So we're done. Questions? Please let me know. Again, if I missed anything or misspoke, please say so in the comments. And that's it. If you liked my video, it's a long one. Thanks for hanging in there though. I appreciate it. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I hope that you will do that. It really helps me spread my love of crafting to other people. And if you've already subscribed, thank you so much for doing so. And as always, thank you for watching.